This is Sydney Ginger LeBlanc, one of the country's best female heavyweight boxers. At 168 pounds, she's deep in training for her next fight in 3 weeks. This is how she starts her day, with a 4-mile run from her home to the weight room, where she catches a quick workout. Then it's off to Power MMA, where she puts the gloves on and gets to work. Ginger's goal is crystal clear.
To be number one.
Her next fight won't catapult her to the top spot, but it could set her up for a title shot. But being the heavyweight champion isn't exactly what Ginger grew up dreaming about. Rather, it's something that developed from a culture shock after leaving small-town Sunset, Louisiana, and relocating to Miami, Florida.
Being from the country, like I'm coming from more of a primitive area, even not as like New Orleans. I'm from the country. Where like if you step on the property, you're not supposed to be there, and our family takes it into their own hands. I feel like I've always described as being more primitive, being from the country. And then when I got to the city, it was like people were rude, they were disrespectful. I didn't like it, I didn't tolerate it, and it basically started off from that inner aggression.
That inner aggression inevitably led to a lot of fights, but ironically, it was in one of these brawls that Ginger says her life changed for the better.
What kicked off my boxing, actually, I got jumped in a parking lot, and I handled my own, and turned out the people that saw me get in a fight were owners of a dojo, a little gym.
She never got into a street fight again. Instead, she channeled all her energy to boxing, where she started off in the backyards of Miami, where she made a name for herself, not just for her skill, but for her gender as well.
I was the only female out of a very large group of males, 1 out of 17 jiu-jitsu, the only female fighter on the boxing team out of like 16 guys.
But as her popularity grew, so too did her frustration. In Miami, Ginger says, like a lot of female boxers, she had to deal with identity issues.
Some of them said I look too cute. They try to introduce me to promoters. You look too cute. They wouldn't even want to see me train. If they see you in classy outfit or, just club wear, anything, my coaches were like, no, you have to come see her. She's not a fighter. You need to look harder. So I was like, all right, I cut off all my hair. I had a little mohawk and everything, and I dumbed it down a little bit, and it was, they were like, well, now you just look too aggressive. Then I did that, and I just looked too hard.
So she decided for a change and came back home.
Let's try my roots. Let's try where people are comfortable with me being who I am. Let's go back there.
She says the move was one of the best decisions of her life. Back home, she hooked up with a new coach in Toby Watney. An experienced trainer, he usually shied away from female boxers, but saw star potential in Ginger for both her image and her drive.
He said, well, are we promoting ugly or are we promoting pretty? I knew when he said that we were on the same level. I wanted to promote myself as myself.
She has the dedication that it takes. That's the hardest thing to find with any fighter.
The results speak for themselves. Since turning pro 4 years ago, Ginger has never lost a fight.
When we first put her in the ring, we put her against the number 7 woman in the world at the time, and she stood right there and banged toe-to-toe with her.
But while she's enjoyed success, what she hasn't enjoyed is a big payday. It's another harsh reality for female fighters. They just don't make that much money. For her, it's all for the love of the sport.
I would actually make more working at my restaurant if I pulled a double. We don't make money, period. I'm going to always, no matter how far I get in the ranks, I will always make less than the male. Than my male counterparts, but I just can't stop.
She could definitely be the next world champion. She has all it takes.
At the conclusion of our interview, one thing was still missing. You see, this day was Ginger's sparring day, but her normal partner wasn't available, so she needed a replacement. Qualifications? Well, it had to be a man since she only sparred with men, and he had to be relatively close to her in weight. Luckily for her, there was one person in the room that fit the description.
We'll take care of this broken finger for you. Put a little extra on it.
Unlucky for me, I was that guy. So I stepped in the ring and saw firsthand what the buzz was all about.
Tap gloves, come out of sparring.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
One round was clearly all I needed.
Get a little oxygen
He's a
on your
mover,
head.
man.
That was tough.